If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code @night to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And today we're kind of not talking about Vanguard, we're talking about Shadowverse.
Yeah, because there's like no Vanguard news right now.
Not really.
The mobile game.
Okay, so the stream happened, and they were like, here's a bunch of sets in the next few months. We're like, great, awesome. And then that was just kind of it. Like, there's not really a lot to sink our teeth into, so I wanted to take a moment. And
no ban list.
No ban list either, which is
best
fine.
Fan. I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
I wouldn't call anything especially toxic right now, would you?
We're in a weird place where like the meta has just changed because the new set came out, and we're at like the end of a tournament season.
Yeah.
So like the things that were good in set 9, I think are still good, but not like overwhelming anymore.
Ava and Chronojet come to mind. Or, yeah, and then like there's that, and then History Collection just came out. It's coming out in the West in a month, and V has nothing. So there's not really a reason to poke the bear now. So yeah, normally like we did the stream last week because we couldn't think of anything, but I feel like just skipping it isn't fair to you, listener. So, Root Beer, you went to a demo for Shadowverse. What happened?
Well, it took them a while to park. That was fun. Because they were like... No, because it just so happens that at the time I got there, like they were parking outside the store.
Did they just take forever, like sucking at parallel parking or something? Or
not even parallel parking, because they were like backing into the spot. So it was just like, no, like keep going. Okay, now we have to like realign. We have to like straighten out the car now. So we gotta like move it again.
There's always that guy who like, the mall parking lot or whatever, who has to back into the space. I'm like, is it really worth all the time up top to go like back into nope, messed up, gotta do it again. I'm crooked, let's try again. And there's always one guy.
Yeah, so we did get a pretty big turnout. I wonder if they had posted any pictures on the official Bushiroad account. Where is it? Bushiroad Global.
Oh yeah, I put Nexus at Night on the waiting list for Blue Sky, so that might be a thing at some point. So keep an eye out for that, everybody. But what was I thinking? Oh, you're like looking for pictures of... Yeah,
I wasn't in this picture.
But it was at that shop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one for California. This was after I think this was after I left to eat dinner.
Bummer.
Dang.
Bushiroad Global. But yeah, keep going. I'll
but yeah,
this up while you're doing it.
This particular shop is pretty small, so it was packed. We had 24 people. And if you look at the picture, you can see that like we're using those like plastic folding tables, and we're all shoved into like 6 people a table.
There we go. And there's the guy in the red jacket who's blinking. With the picture. Yeah, found him.
So yeah, big turnout there. And the demo itself was just like the same demo that they gave at events for Springfest. So where they run you through a scripted scenario so that you can kind of learn the game, and then they opened it up to free play afterwards.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about scripted scenarios for teaching someone a game, but I sort of get it. I don't know. Usually when of the times I've learned to play trading card games, it's always been somebody being like, all right, I'm throwing your ass in the deep end. Figure your shit out. Here's all the rules. Good luck. But I think for a lot of people, it might not be so fun to just have somebody dunk your ass in.
Yeah. The good thing about a scripted scenario is that they can just tell you like the situations you're going to find yourself in,
Okay.
and you can figure out like what the priorities are for the game.
Yeah.
Because if I just like threw you a Vanguard deck and didn't tell you anything, like you're not gonna know what to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, typically the way I have taught people is sit down next to me and then explain the rules as I go, and then you sit them down with the deck and then explain the rules as they go, and then once they think they're ready, you just... So it takes a few games to do it, but they don't have that kind of time, right? They just like, all right, let's just do the one. And...
Yeah. Because it was only scheduled for an hour. Also, I just wanted the promo.
What's the promo?
There was a Guilty Gear one for Weiss, and then there we go.
Okay, nice. So for people
wait,
listening,
they're putting Guilty Gear in Weiss. I forgot.
So for people just listening, it's an Altar Trickstar.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just wanted the Altar Trickstar.
That's fair. It's cute. Yeah. I forgot they're putting Guilty Gear in Weiss. That's still like surreal.
I don't know. Just seeing Avatar: The Last Airbender in Weiss makes me want to play Weiss.
It's not the first fighting game in Weiss.
Yeah.
The first one was King of Fighters.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a really old set. In the first 10 sets of the game, I think.
Yeah.
And
Did they ever revisit it or no?
No. Well, not until this year. In which case they're releasing like an update basically for the set, but it's like a really, really old set. The set's pretty bad. It has some interesting cards in it that they would never print today. Good examples is a card called Member Select, which is a I think it's 1/2 event, like a one level 1 2-cost event, where you can choose a character in your clock, which is like your damage, and put it into your hand.
Oh wow,
it does not deal the damage back.
That's pretty whack.
It just puts it in your hand. Yeah. And then there's another card, which is I think Team Psycho Soldier, which is if you have a Chin, Athena, or Kenso in your discard pile, or whatever they call it, waiting room, I think in Weiss. Then you can choose 2 cards in your clock and send them to graveyard. So you heal 2 basically.
That's awesome.
So you have to have one of those characters in your drop zone, but the Chin dumps stuff in your drop zone for you, which is kind of the whole point. It's a weird set, really, really bizarre set. Its win con is kind of just stalling out the game and playing a bunch of 2 souls. At least it was for a long time. I'm not sure if it's going to change at all, but yeah. KOF's cool series. I'm a big KOF enjoyer. Not Weiss set, but like the literal game of King of Fighters.
Yeah, that's like same thing. I if I didn't have my 1 TCG at a time roll in paper, I would give Weiss a try just because there's Atla stuff.
There is. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's any good, but
it seemed good when they were revealing stuff, but I could not tell you.
Did it just kind of not?
I don't really play English Weiss anyway, so not really that interesting to me. But yeah, English Weiss was always really expensive for some reason, so I never cared.
Who's to say why? Okay, so the demo went on for an hour and then it opened up to free play. Did anything interesting happen or?
No, we just like finished out the demo game that they started, and then I went to eat dinner because it was 7, and I was hungry.
That's a real brisk event. I guess it makes sense if they're just doing an hour. But like, where do you think this leaves Shadowverse as a game in terms of like people getting into it? Where they're just kind of like, ooh, something new, and then what?
I don't know. Like, the game seems to be doing fine in Japan. They're on like 4 sets now.
Okay. How long does a game on average last before it flames out, if it does?
I
mean, Matt, you're gonna have to answer that.
I know. In anything, like for whatever
games in Shadowverse. Usually. Oh wait,
no. I think we're talking about the lifespan of a game.
Oh.
Like Luck and Logic, I think lasted 2 sets.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's true. I think it'll have a bit more staying power than that, just because Shadowverse already is like an established IP. Luck and Logic had a really, really disastrous. Okay, so Luck and Logic had a few problems. One, the art. A lot of people just don't want to play with cards that look like that.
It looked pretty homogenous, for sure.
I mean, it wasn't even just homogenous, but also kind of, people might feel weird playing it in public. But also, it has like established on nothing, right? It was just like this random thing. Here it is, randomly.
Yeah.
Although even if the mechanics were neat, which I think they were, it was definitely a really bizarre game, especially in the United States, where not a lot of card games can survive because of how spacious the United States is. You would need to get a bunch of people playing it in like a singular area, which is not sustainable for the distribution that has to happen.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why Buddy Fight also fell off. Even if you have like a group of people playing it, it doesn't matter because it's only in these specific groups and nowhere else.
Yeah, like Buddy Fight was a reasonably well-designed game, and even people from our daddy OG Nexus course still talk about it, and occasionally we'll play a game for nostalgia's sake every now and again.
There was a time when people even when Buddy Fight was like more reasonably popular, people would be like, "You should play Buddy Fight," and you look online to buy cards, you just can't.
Yeah,
you're like they were just not available. And that's kind of a real non-starter of the game. Is like there was just no products, and like no singles even for people that want to play.
Like you had the ability to get cards, and that's probably what's going to make Shadowverse last longer because it, like Root Beer said, either can't remember if it was before we started recording, but it's a pre-existing property. So you
people
already
are familiar with Shadowverse. That's true.
Yeah. So people have already played it online, and now it's in paper.
I had a lot of fun playing Shadowverse online, at least in the first couple of sets, which is really where I have the most of my experience. I played a lot of Swordcraft back then. Games in Shadowverse are pretty weird. Like you can just die randomly, but also you could not do that.
Yeah. Or you either just like die suddenly, or your opponent has like 4 guys with ward on the field, and the game just lasts forever.
Yep. I mean, if anyone has played Shadowverse, if I say the word Roach, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Roach is a notorious card for just killing people. It basically is one of those cards that gets power for every card you play this turn, or something like that. And then there's a deck called Forestcraft, which the whole point of the deck is to make these dumb fairies that have cost nothing and have like 1 power, and you just keep bouncing things to your hand over and over and over again.
I think that's what I played in the demo when we did it at Springfest.
And then you play Roach and dome your opponent for 1 billion.
Yeah. So what you're saying is cut their life into pieces. This is their last resort.
Please stop.
Worth it.
Any laws against this?
What, against me making dumb references? Never.
That's correct.
How else would I interact with 90% of the human world if I'm not allowed to make references to things?
You could. Never mind.
Yeah, no, I just die. It allows me to keep my Windows 97 brain alive from one to the other. So always a good time. So it's a pre-existing property, and also, and I brought this up in past episodes where like Vanguard needs that, like the ability for someone to stream the game. It allows people to discover it via TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever. Where Shadowverse already existing as it does, it's probably going to get more people in that way. Vanguard or Weiss players aside who are curious via Bushiroad, this is probably a better way to make a game, is to start with that.
I mean, yes, but also, like, Bushiroad is actually doing a decent job of actually promoting this one because they're just going around. They're doing the demo caravan, right? Like, I can't remember the last time any company has done that.
Yeah, like, before their ads were like, Luck and Logic releasing September 23rd or whatever the things, and like end of Vanguard episodes, and you're like, this is on YouTube. I'm not watching this. I'm hitting fast forward. This, Master Duel at least has the good grace to be ads on like, YouTube's thingy, whatever, like
Yeah.
ad read stuff. It's not embedded in the video.
But also, it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it's the pre-existing thing. But even 20 plus years ago, what was their ad stuff like? The
The cartoon,
yeah,
the anime, like watching it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like cable television isn't what it used to be.
Nope. That's one thing. Okay, this is again another aside. This is just going to be an episode full of these. But as a comedian, I have found myself finding it harder and harder to write jokes about TV shows and movies because everything is so spread out now with all the different streaming services and that kind of thing. You don't have a central zeitgeist to draw from most of the time. So you will have times where you write a joke about, like, I have this joke where I'm talking about watching Black Mirror compared to the Twilight Zone. And like some people just didn't watch Black Mirror. It wasn't on one of the 3 channels like the Twilight Zone was. And so like sometimes you'll do that bit and you just get blank stares for like, what the fuck is Black Mirror? And that might just be the case now where you don't really have the ability to go, I'm going to put Vanguard's anime on 4 kids and do that.
Also, like, fun fact, Konami owns 4 kids.
Back then too?
No, okay. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember the exact details, but at some point Konami bought 4 kids.
Okay, I was like, if Konami owned 4 kids back then, that means they did that Shadow Realm crap to themselves. Which is crazy.
They bought 4 kids to kill it.
That makes sense. Yeah, where they're like, teach you and make us fucking have a Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Shadow Realm.
So yeah, that was one of those things where it's just like randomly scrolling along. And it's like, yeah, 4 Kids still does the dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Konami owns it now. And I'm like, oh. Okay.
All right. So, yeah. I mean, like, another thing, I don't know if people are afraid of it, but just like people see the Shadowverse stuff and they're like, oh my god, is Vanguard dying? That's its own separate discourse. But they see Shadowverse.
I feel like you're the only one who's saying that right now.
Not about
I'm not saying
dying. I don't think Vanguard's dying. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about people saying Vanguard's dying. Mostly because of the whole Luard and Shiranui.
But that's a different conversation, and those people are stupid.
Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid of Shadowverse. I just don't want to do it. That's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I didn't really have much else to say because I wasn't there, aside from the Springfest thing. I think my main problem, it wasn't really much of a problem, was just how many like side stuff happens.
Yeah. There are a lot of moving pieces in the game, I will give you that.
Mm-hmm. That was about it, though. Like, it seemed perfectly fine. I had a similar interaction with WeCross. I thought WeCross was fine. Flash and
That game is fun.
Yeah.
WeCross.
Yeah.
I played it when it first came out in Japan a long time ago, but ultimately quit because it was becoming it was too annoying to get promos. And so I was like, I'm good.
Became too annoying to get promos. Wonder where else I've heard that from.
I mean, it's just getting promos from Japan at the rate that they released really good promos on WeCross was too fast for me. And I just couldn't get them fast enough for it to stay relevant. And I'm not the only one who's had this problem. I've talked to a lot of other people, and they've eventually quit due to similar issues. But I just know people who play the game still in English now because WeCross is now in English. I know people still play it. Seems like a fine game. I like the mechanics of WeCross a lot, but not the art.
One of my old locals is like full ass WeCross now because one of the shop owners was really into it. And he's like, I'm gonna plug this really hard.
Yeah. I think let me. My friend has been streaming the WeCross stuff at one of the shops in the area. Let me see if I can remember which one it is.
My mate.
It might be the one you're talking about, actually, because I'm.
Is it?
Do you remember Jamal?
No.
From UCR. Damn.
Oh.
or whatever his name. Turn Zero Games.
Yes.
He's streaming the We Cross weeklies. There every week.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
yeah,
Dennis from Turn Zero, he's the one that's been plugging it really hard.
Yeah,
so I think that's part of it.
And so he's been streaming them because he likes We Cross as well. But yeah, we know We Cross is I think We Cross is an incredibly mechanically enjoyable game.
There's that, and
it's quite weird, but
you had a lot of women players, like roughly half of the local scene. Like by the time I was starting to okay, they're not doing Vanguard so much anymore, I'm gonna quit coming here. Like roughly half of a tournament would be women, which is awesome. And I think we need more of that in trading card games, but I can also see how women might not be into that whole idea.
I mean, We Cross is like I said, the art is a little weird sometimes. But luckily they've actually fixed. I say fixed, but they've hidden a lot of the more risque art from the Japanese game in the English game, and I think the cards look a lot better for it actually. Like you know how sometimes the cards look kind of weird, but no, I think the cards just look better. Another good example of them kind of like fixing art is in the game Melty Blood Type Lumina. They put a Fate Grand Order character in. I'm gonna butcher this name really quickly, so give me a second. They put a character named Ushi Wakamaru.
Ushi Wakamaru. Okay.
So the Japanese art of this character is quite. She's not wearing a lot.
Okay.
But in Melty Blood Type Lumina, they gave her an undershirt, and it looks a lot better. It makes the character have a lot more color instead of just being like skin.
Got it.
But I think like sometimes that stuff really works in their favor.
I know for like Yu-Gi-Oh, they have a habit of doing that with a lot of cards with those censor stuff, almost to a fault.
It's funny when Yu-Gi-Oh censors stuff because they'll put a gun and put like nothing.
Like this.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh censors its cards to a comical degree sometimes.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right, here. So the for people watching the pictures. So this was after you left, you said?
Yeah, this picture. That was after I left.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
And then there's the.
This was a different store where there were like 5 people because it was. I guess it was like a chain, and like nobody knew they were coming.
That's interesting that in the back they have the like what's coming up on the.
Oh yeah, that's just the shop.
Yeah, no, that's cool that they do that at that shop because they don't do that at my shop. They have the stuff behind them, like here, here it is. Behold, look, but they don't do it like coming soon to a store near you. But yeah, I think this is kind of like there's not a lot here in terms of like what to talk about, but I do think it's interesting to see like what's in a game, what makes for a good foundation to get your game to evolve, and how do you get like this cross-pollination between one and the other? How does a Magic player become a Yu-Gi-Oh player, become a Vanguard player, become a Shadowverse player? So, yay! Did we have anything else we wanted to talk about or no?
Not really, but the answer is marketing. Also, like, if one of the other games is doing badly at a particular moment in time, it might convince people to leave.
Yeah. Vanguard started to get popular because Yu-Gi-Oh was in a tough spot where Inzectors were like running roughshod over everything.
It was like Inzector Windup. Yeah.
So Windup, Hand Loop, and Inzectors, that's what caused me to leave. And then like it got to the point where in MBT's History of Yu-Gi-Oh series, he was like, at this point, Simo's History of Yu-Gi-Oh series, he was like, this is what caused a bunch of people to leave. Was this? Yeah. So the fact that he's talking about it a decade later means that it like had an impact on.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard what to tell like in the moment what's actually making people want to stop playing.
Yeah.
But usually it's much clearer like looking back. Although Yu-Gi-Oh has had a ton of mechanic changes where people are like, I'm quitting Yu-Gi-Oh forever. Yeah. That happens every time they change a mechanic.
Synchro, Xyz.
Every time they introduce a new summoning mechanic, correct.
Yeah.
People are still complaining about pendulums.
That's true. And pendulums, like, is it even good?
No. I mean, Pendulum is basically just its own archetype now. You just play one big pendulum incest pile.
Well, we did have Super Heavy Samurai for like a week and a half.
Yeah. But that's not really a pendulum deck. You just scale Wakaushi and then...
Yeah, I mean, it's... Look, it does pendulum summon. It was so good. You know there's a currently played card on Yu-Gi-Oh! That had its art changed from Japan to America?
Oh.
There's this card called Baguska, the Terribly Tired.
Oh, yeah.
Spirit. And
Yeah,
in the
with
Japanese version, he's like drunk.
Yeah.
Baguska, the dirty, stinking drunk.
Yeah, and then in the new art, it just has a pillow or the bottle.
We need to have both arts of Baguska.
True.
Admittedly, I kind of like it better that he's tired. I don't know why.
I think it's pretty funny that he
He's
just has
just
a pillow. He's real eepy.
Yeah. And then there's all the very, like, petty changes where it's like, okay, we made the skirt, like, 1 pixel longer than the Japanese version.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, but what are you going to do? So, yeah, I guess that's kind of it. So, thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks to $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, Ali, at Nexus at Night on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and maybe in the future Blue Sky. I don't know what's going to happen with that or how
Or
long it takes.
Threads.
Ew.
Oh,
I don't want to.
I'm not.
I'm
No.
not. I'm not touching that with.
Don't forget when you play Shadowverse Evolved to make your own sound effects for Shadowverse cards. Your opponent will be very thankful they're getting the full Shadowverse experience.
Okay, one person during the demo did actually just open up the app.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's amazing. Why didn't you bring that up earlier? That's amazing.
When you play Otohime, you have to go. You'll never hurt Otohime. It's actually required. I assume she'll be in the game at some point.
Right.
I mean, she is. I have 2 of them.
Hell yeah. That card was sick.
Yeah.
I like Swordcraft. Swordcraft fun, but they made it bad for a long time, so I stopped playing.
Yeah, I bought the Swordcraft starter deck, and then just bought like a couple boxes over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Can't believe Shadowverse just said "Made Knights Go," and then that was it. Enough thinking.
I already did that. Nexus at Night. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night if you want to support the show. $5, you get an extra bonus show a week. $10, you get your name said and shown on all our videos and episodes, and you get to see our stuff a day early. So that's pretty fun. Where can they find the rest of us?
I can find.
Show it again. I wasn't looking.
At Wiggins.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that card's sick.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Find me at Wiggins, 2 G's, 2 Z's on Twitter.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Now on Blue Sky because that one went through.
That's cool.
All of that, or you can also follow my my YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic. It's all little short form sketches. A good chunk of them are about having epilepsy. And or follow my other podcast, Generation Dan. That's with Dino the Genetic Marvel about generational differences. That's every Thursday. And yeah, thanks to everybody for listening. Until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer. Also, I have this.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It's a shiny one.
It is a shiny one. And have a good night, everybody.